Some good back and forth from members in our chat at iqdcalls.com. Saturday afternoon, March 23, 2019. From Cap. Such flexibility could allow a predictable and gradual appreciation of the nominal exchange rate, triggered by strong oil revenues and the Balassa-Samuelson effect. If you read this in its entirety, you can see it cannot already have happened. Not to mention it says specifically the Balassa-Samuelson effect, which cannot be misunderstood. In 1964, academics Béla Balassa, a Hungarian economist, and Paul Samuelson, a Nobel laureate economist, independently observed that countries with higher levels of productivity growth experienced rapidly rising real wages and so appreciating real exchange rates. Academic studies since have suggested the picture is not as simple as Mr. Balassa and Mr. Samuelson first thought, and that many other factors can also influence the model. However, many long-term investors in emerging market currencies, for example, have been able to benefit from the appreciation of those currencies, which is arguably due to the Balassa-Samuelson effect. The key here is the last sentence. Many long-term investors in emerging market currencies, for example, have been able to benefit from the appreciation of those currencies, which is arguably due to the Balassa-Samuelson effect. From Black Gold. The Balassa-Samuelson effect is a phrase that describes the result when countries with high productivity growth also experience high wage growth, which leads to higher real exchange rates. From Cap. Dave. First, it was not 2 weeks ago, it was almost a year ago. LOL. You finally found it 2 weeks ago, you're late to the game. From Dave. Well, he stated it again verbatim not London ago. From Cap. Dave, the CBI cannot stop the auctions until it has something to replace it with. The auctions are the CBI's source of revenue. The replacement is the float, which allows the CBI to then buy and sell its currency on the world market like any other country that floats. This is not new. From Dave. Cap. IMF has told them numerous times to end MCP. From Dave. Article 8 and Article 14. Multiple currency practices applicable solely to capital transactions. The phrase, multiple currency practices, in decisions of the fund relating to the use of the fund's resources does not, except as otherwise provided, include multiple currency practices applying solely to capital transactions. From Sam. I am. Larry K. and the dollar fluctuation only affects the market rate. We're talking about the auction rate. The dinar is pegged to the dollar, so there's no fluctuation of the auction rate. From Larry K.N. The fluctuation affects the dinar and will move in price up or down to the dollar, so as the dollar gets stronger the dinar gets weaker and vice versa. From Sparky. Sam. I am. The current time, before it is international, forex driven. From Black Gold. I just read MCP definition, and if I read it right, the CBI and IMF in Iraq are in gross negligence. From Sam. I am. So if there were 2 devaluations, as I maintain, that would mean that Cap is the one who is confused. If I'm right, the dinar will continue to lose value in an effort to reduce the spread with the market rate. From Cap. Article 8 and Article 14. Multiple currency practices, policy. The Executive Board approves the decision set forth in. The Executive Board has reviewed the fund's policy with respect to multiple currency practices. The fund shall be guided by the approach outlined in the conclusions set forth below. One official action should not cause exchange rate spreads and cross-rate quotations to differ unreasonably from those that arise from the normal commercial costs and risks of exchange transactions. Action by a member or its fiscal agencies that of itself gives rise to a spread of more than 2% between buying and selling rates for spot exchange transactions between the member's currency and any other member's currency would be considered a multiple currency practice and would require the prior approval of the fund. 2. An exchange spread that arises without official action would not give rise to a multiple currency practice. 3. Deviations between the buying and selling rates for spot transactions and for other transactions would not be considered multiple currency practices if they represent the additional costs and exchange risks for these other transactions. B. Action by a member or its fiscal agencies which results in midpoint spot exchange rates of other members' currencies against its own currency in a relationship which differs by more than 1% from the midpoint spot exchange rates for these currencies in their principal markets would give rise to a multiple currency practice. If the differentials of more than 1% in these cross rates persist for more than 1 week, the resulting multiple currency practice would become subject to the approval of the fund under Article 8, Section 3. From Young SC. March 23, 2019 Guru News Hound Intel MNT Goat article. Integrity Commission on Tuesday, IT was able to control cases of manipulation in the sale of currency, quote, the change will be made by raising the exchange rate of the Iraqi dinar against foreign currencies. What did they just tell us? They are going ahead with the currency reform. Also, I want to point out we keep getting article after article on how Iraq needs investors to come into Iraq, yet they can't without a free flow of capital, and you can't have a free flow of capital using the currency auctions. This would be disastrous for Iraq. So they need to go international and they need to raise the value in the process or it will not work. It is all interconnected and it is time to get it done, not later but now. From Young SC. Cap and Sam love old irrelevant news and never base their opinions of new information. From Sam I am. Young SC people said the same thing about Warren Buffett when he criticized the tech investors back in the late 90s. Said he was old school. But he didn't lose his ass when tech bubble burst like a lot of people did. From Andre Dinero. Iraqi dinar revaluation. What it will take for the Central Bank of Iraq and the Iraq government to have a revaluation of the Iraqi dinar. We can all agree that the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, is not at all very transparent when publishing data to the public or even on their website. When you look at the CBI website, it is not updated and the information posted is from 2012. I would like to know what is the data for years 2013 and 2014. How much Iraqi dinar is in circulation in the country? No one knows for sure what the actual number is as the records are not up to date. The CBI governor has been meeting with government officials and economists discussing monetary policies and security. The Islamic State, IS or ISIL, is on every Iraqi citizen mind as those terrorists are inside Iraq killing innocent people. From Dave. CBI still running auctions for the US dollar, that's how they currently make their money reserves. IMF is suggesting that they should be getting it from the banking sector and not on the spread. From Black Gold. CBI is run by the Rothschilds and so is the IMF. Doesn't matter, we still wait. From Dave. Black Gold, that's just one box of many that needs to be checked off. From Dave. So yes, we wait. More in our chat at iqdcalls.com. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of our videos the second we post. And always check our site iqdcalls.com, as it is updated constantly. Peace.